This is the Be One Change One podcast, where our mission is to help listeners define values, practice integrity, and inspire change.
Our vision is to mentor men and empower them to achieve more by taking responsibility for shaping their own lives.
He's CAS, an evolving man who has been shaped by adversity and continues to grow through his imperfections.
And he's Roscoe, an imperfect work in progress that tries to suck less every day.
Between us, we have over 40 years of Air Force fighter pilot experience with countless hours as trainers, instructors, and mentors.
Join us and learn to take responsibility for your own life as we dive into subjects from leadership to resilience to vulnerability.
Be the one who changes their course. Be decisive, driven, and purposeful. Set the example for others. Lead. We wish we'd had this show when we were younger men.
Be the one.
I don't know if I can eat that shit. I don't know if I can eat that shit and talk at the same time. So
we'll have one before we start.
I'll put that on hold for just a second, and I'll
That's
wait
fine.
till
Take them home with you too.
I'll wait. Are they crunchy?
Yeah,
All right, so I'll wait until you're saying something really important.
they're best. They're best dipped in coffee.
Yes, love those things. All right, talking about chaos today and controlling all the chaos in your life, and we all have that. If you adult at all, you're gonna have some fucking chaos, right?
Yeah.
So here's my story. Thursday afternoon, sometime, Katie texts me and she says, "Hey, you want to go see Matt Rife tomorrow night or Saturday night? He's playing both nights." I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Okay, fine." I had Friday off, so no big deal. So she got us tickets for the 7:00 show on Friday night, and we got like the Pull Right Trash tickets, kind of right in the center, kind of up the. It's a huge venue. If you haven't been to that auditorium, it's in the Phoenix Financial Center downtown. We've gone to a couple concerts down there. It's really cool. So yeah, we're Pull Right Trash seats, kind of dead center up at the top, not in the balcony, not trailer trash, but just Pull White Trash. So she gets up Friday morning and she's looking for the tickets in her StubHub account. They're not there. Emails are saying coming soon. It'll be here in a little bit. It should be cool. Just wait. Oh, they'll be there by 4:00. So she gets on this little chat bot thing on StubHub and is trying to figure out, dude, where's my fucking tickets? Come off of my Matt Rife tickets. So a little after 4, we're actually driving down the freeway and we're dressed up. You know, we kind of went all in. We decided to have a dress up night and we're going to go to dinner and then go see the show downtown somewhere. She's freaking the fuck out in the passenger seat. I'm driving down the freeway just like, dude, Katie, it'll work out. Just chill. It'll work out. And she's like, she's getting ready to throw shit and she's flipping a bird to people who are passing, and it's getting animated over in the passenger seat. And which, by the way, Katie doesn't wear dresses very often, so when she does, it's kind of funny because she forgets that she's wearing a dress, so she's like beaving the whole fucking interstate as we're going down. Anyways, so StubHub does something really cool, and they're like, well, okay, your ticket didn't work out. At like 4:05, she got an email that says, sorry, your tickets can't be delivered. So fuck me, right? We bought it from fucking Jim Bob, who happens to have a StubHub account, and scammed us. But StubHub guarantees their shit, and they're like, we'll give you a refund, or we'll try to find you some tickets that are comparable. Bet. Let's go. Yeah. We're going to see fucking Matt Rife, right?
Yeah.
So before we even got to Avondale down here to the Chili's, we just wanted something real quick, in and out, get a couple of chicken tenders, and then head down there. And before we got down there, they had gotten us some new seats in the venue, and we ended up 3rd row in the pit, right by the stage.
Wow, that's cool.
Fucking yeah. So we get down there and we're talking to some of the people that are sitting around us. One of them was an Army guy who ended up he was a crew chief on helicopters, and then became a warrant officer and was like one of their maintenance officer type people.
Yeah.
For the 160th. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh, he showed me a bunch of fucking cool guy pictures and videos of him over in like Somalia and shit. That was pretty baller. And this is all before the show even started.
Yeah. For those that don't know, like the 160th is the special unit in the Army that basically flies all the Delta Force dudes and all the Spec Ops guys around.
Yeah, they're pretty badass.
They're badass.
And then the guy sitting next to us, the common theme of the, I don't know, 6 people or so that we talked to that were right around us, the common theme was they bought their tickets almost a year ago for this, and they paid about $500 a piece for those things. So not only did we get upgraded, we got upgraded like hard.
Yeah.
Like we're fucking balling, right? And the moral of the story is all of that worrying and throwing shit and all that stuff that Katie was doing. And I kept telling her, I'm just driving over there, cruise control, fucking Katie, bitch, be cool, man.
Yeah.
Just chill. It'll work out. We might not get to see Matt Rife tonight. We might have to go tomorrow night. Okay, it's fine. We might not get to go at all. We'll go home and watch the Netflix special. We're going to go out to eat. We're dressed up. We're going to have a good time either way.
Yeah.
You know? And that's kind of the moral of the story is, dudes, you're going to have shit go wrong in your life. And I'm telling you, like 95% of it is shit that you just can't do anything about.
Yeah, a lot of it is.
You control what you can control. And of that situation, we had conversation with StubHub. And we were patient, and that was about it. That was about all we could do, man. We're going to go eat. We're going to start heading downtown, and lo and behold, shit worked out.
Well, I think what that also points to, I think one of the important pieces to that story, and you see the contrast in you and Katie to some extent, is when there are things. So I think there's kind of two forms of chaos that we can talk to, right? There's stuff that's self-induced chaos. And then there's stuff that's outside of our control. You know, there's outside factors that may be outside of our control that try to bring chaos into our life, right? So, but what you had done was you had just accepted it for what it was, right? You had already gone through a process of accepting, well, this is just where we're at. It's going to go one of two ways. We're either going to get tickets or we're not. Either way, the choice that we have to make right now is, are we going to have a good evening or not? And stressing out about it isn't going to get us any closer to that, right? So I think acceptance and those, you know, recognizing that these things are outside of your control and then accepting it for what it is in the moment is super critical to how you manage that outside chaos sometimes in your life. Does that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. And I think it takes a lot of practice to get to a point where you can just kind of go, okay, dude, of this whole situation, what can I actually do about it?
Yeah. What can you influence?
You're pissed off at what the fucking president's doing. What can you actually do about it? Well, you can be more frugal with your spending habits because of inflation. You can maybe get a car that doesn't burn as much gas because the price of gas is, you know, those kinds of things are in your
control.
Oh, and it's an election year. So be mindful of who you vote for.
Yeah.
I mean, those are some of the things that you can control, but who is it? I don't know. One of those famous people a long time ago, Eisenhower or Roosevelt, said complaining without a solution is called whining.
Yeah.
Stop fucking whining, man. Yeah. Like either do something about it or accept it. That's really all you can do. Like Frankel says, you know, you can choose your response to a lot of things. And I chose to just, I mean, it's what, like you said, there's going to be two outcomes. We're either going or we're not, period. Now, what happens around that, you know, maybe we have some control over. We're going to still control our timing in case we get tickets en route. We're still going to be there on time, so we can control that. So the short-term goal was get to the restaurant that we want to go to, have an idea of what we wanted to eat so we could order quickly and get in and out of there as fast as we can. I can't do shit about traffic on I-10. You know, so what pieces of this do I actually have control over?
Yeah. Well, I think the other key piece of that too is when you're so caught up in the chaos of what's happening. So let's say the tickets didn't come through and now you guys find yourself in downtown Phoenix for the night.
Yeah.
Well, if you're so bent out of shape or so wrapped up in the chaos of we didn't get the tickets, what opportunities are you missing for the other things that you could have ended up doing that evening and still had a bunch of fun together, right? Like, because you kind of get shrouded or blinded by it to a certain extent. It becomes overwhelming. It becomes it can become all consuming. And so, you know, like you were saying, being in the place where you were leaves your eyes open to opportunities and maybe other ways to attack the problem or other ways to salvage the situation, right?
God damn, that stuff's good.
I know, it's so good.
Jesus, it's like crack, man.
Alicia, you're amazing.
Oh,
it is like crack.
The listeners have no idea what we're talking about. So let's just leave it there. Let them fill it in with their imaginations. Now, dude, you're right, man. And isn't that true for every other facet of life, though? Is you end up focusing so much on the wrong shit that you miss the shit that you could be focusing on and really getting something out of it.
Yeah. Well, you know? And in some ways too, it goes back to balance, right? Like you have a choice in life to find balance in situations, you know, and to balance your emotions, right? It goes back to what we were talking about with emotional intelligence, right? Are you going to self-regulate your emotions Are you going to stay in the process and not get focused on the outcome and just kind of let things unfold and then react as you can with what the things that you control around you as those things come up? Or are you going to overreact, which it then is going to have you miss maybe chances to pivot or to move in a different direction or to make a different decision, because you start to get channelized attention and you get so focused on, I have to see Matt Rife and I have to see Matt Rife tonight, that nothing else is apparent to you. Nothing else is an option for you.
Yeah. You said something in there that, I don't know, it just got me thinking. You said overreact, but what about underreact? What if you're the guy that just doesn't get spun up over anything and you're just like, well, woe is me, whatever the fuck, and you're just kind of going through life that way?
Yeah. I don't know. Again, I think it just goes back to balance. I mean, I think most people in general tend to overreact to situations, especially when it comes to quote unquote chaos, because that's typically denotes some type of an overwhelming factor. But that's a good question. I'm not sure how to answer that one, to be honest with you, Roscoe.
That's a little weird
when underwhelmed. I think most of those people just don't give a shit.
Well, but that's kind of the point though, and that's kind of where I was going with it was, I mean, you have to be emotionally invested in some things.
Yeah.
There's got to be some things, like every man has that one thing that he'll fall on his sword for kind of deal. And I'm not saying I'm falling on my sword for Matt Rife tickets, but the emotional reactions that we have to some things, like if you're just numb to the entire world, then one of the things that I had written down, one of the things that I had written down on here, and I'm sorry I failed the listeners, I actually did take notes on this one. One of the things that I wrote down here was do meaningful shit. And if you're the kind of person that just doesn't have anything in life that brings you fulfillment and you're just like, meh,
well, I think the point to what you're making is, like, even though maybe you weren't overreacting to the situation, you were still invested in the evening.
Well, yeah.
What that looked like,
the bigger picture,
what that looked like could be different things. What that looked like could be no Matt Rife, but a really good dinner somewhere downtown.
Yeah,
and
that's called a pivot.
Yeah, right. Finding a pivot and still salvaging and making fun of the evening, right? So you had investment in what was happening. You just weren't overreacting to the fact that Matt Rife might not be part of that plan anymore.
By God, I spent 5 minutes putting all this shit on. We're going to go have some fun.
Yeah. That always works out well.
Yeah. No, I think that's good, man. And then, it's not just the reaction, but noticing the emotions that you're having at the time, the feelings that you're having at the time, and kind of maybe pause for just a second and go, why am I so spun up about this?
Yeah.
What is it about this thing?
Yeah, that goes back to the emotional intelligence stuff we talked about, right?
Well, yeah, all this stuff goes back to it kind of, I feel like we talk in circles a lot.
We do.
But framing the discussion a different way, talking about the chaos in your life, because it is, man. I mean, you're always going to be thrown curveballs. There's always going to be something that doesn't go as planned. Like we had our evening planned out. We had a timeline down. Katie and I are planners. And when it comes to shit like, okay, showtime's 7, takes us an hour to get there. Yeah. We want to eat and then buffer for traffic a little bit. We got to find parking. So, we have a departure time from the house, plus or minus 10 minutes. I mean, so we do the planning piece of it, and then en route things change, and you're like, well, fuck, man. It's no different than, you're in the Marshall at red flag and you get ready to push, and red air is already halfway across the airspace because the B1 pushed 2 minutes early. You're like, well, fuck.
Been in that show.
We just planned for 12 fucking hours, and it's all out the window now. Good luck coming up with something, mission commander and lane commanders.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you just, I don't know. You have to take a step back and be like, well, I mean, maybe we don't go see the concert. Maybe we don't go to the movie. Maybe something happens. And the story that I told on here about going to Six Flags last summer when the transmission went out in the car.
Oh yeah.
What are you going to do, man? I mean, maybe we don't go to Six Flags. Maybe we find something else. Maybe we spend the whole weekend just, drinking Mai Tais by the pool at our hotel while our car gets fixed. Yeah. Either way, we have a good time.
Yeah, you got to do something, right?
Yeah.
Well, what about when it's self-generated? Like, and maybe we should define that a little bit, right? So,
is this like Roscoe doing dumb shit? Or?
Well, no, but what if it's self-generated? So, we've talked a lot about on the podcast about, maybe, especially if I'm a younger man, maybe I don't recognize some of the patterns that I typically fall into, right? So, as an example for me, an overfunctioner, right? A rescuer to a certain extent.
Yeah, if you're 20 years old, you're probably not recognizing that.
And you might not recognize those things about you, but you find yourself in these situations or involved with individuals where you're in this constant state of chaos because of things that are going on in their life, but because you've always played the role of, rescuer, or because you're a problem solver and you like to jump in and solve other people's problems for them, which typically doesn't work out very well once you've done it enough.
Well, what you need to do is shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Maybe that is what is actually generating that chaos in your life. Because think about that stuff, man. If you've got a close friend or a family member or, a girlfriend or something like that, and you have these patterns in your life that you're not even aware of, that can bring a lot of chaos into your life, because now all of a sudden you've got other people's problems that you're taking on, and that becomes a time suck to you, that becomes challenges that you have to face and fix, and some of that can be self-perpetuated. So what do you do in those situations?
Well, a lot of that, what you were just talking about, though, I mean, there's so many good discussions that could come out of that. You could talk about your emotional availability to people. You could talk about, does that bring you fulfillment? That's a good question to ask. Like, does this really do it for you? If it does, man, maybe you want to seek a career in this. You might be good at it, and you might be able to get paid handsomely
maybe a
for
strength.
it. Yeah. It could be something that you're gifted with, that empathy to be able to talk to people and help them through things. You might have a gift of patience or something like that, so you can use that to your advantage. You could also have a really good discussion about barriers around that, what you were just saying.
Boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries and barriers. Yeah, that was the word I was looking for, not barriers.
Yeah, boundaries.
Words are hard.
I know what you meant.
Early Sunday morning, you put chocolate in front of me, and but yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good things, and unfortunately for the younger dudes out there and ladies, I think a lot of that just comes with a lot of self-awareness over time. You just kind of have to you kind of have to stick with it long enough and learn. You have to know yourself so that you can figure some of that stuff out. And at the end of it all, everything that you just said, at the end of it all, you bring it right back to, what part of this can I actually control?
Yeah.
I can give this kid all the advice in the world, but can I control anything that he does? No, probably not.
Yeah. But I'm focusing more on just the self-generated pieces of it too, right? I think that you have to, if you're bringing some of this chaos in life on yourself, the first thing I think that you need to do is go back to, like we talk about, it's a big old knot, right? Self-inspection, right? You got to ask the why. Why am I doing this? Maybe you have chaos in your life because you can't manage your time very efficiently. And so, you end up overtasking yourself, and now you get too much on your plate and you can't get it all done in the time that you've allotted. Maybe you have chaos in your life because you avoid things because that's a coping mechanism for you. And then those things pile up and it becomes overwhelming at a certain point, and that increases chaos in your life.
Well, I was just about to say, as you were talking, I was just about to say that it probably 9 out of 10 probably comes back to a decision that you made.
Yeah.
You can probably trace it back. If you do some of that debrief shit and you start peeling back the onion, you'll find that somewhere along the way, there was a decision that you made. You decided to get involved, or you decided to buy that car, or whatever it is. You decided to skip the gym for a month and now you can't fit into your bathing suit. Whatever it is that's troubling you, whatever chaos you've defined in your life, probably goes back to something that you did.
Yeah. So I guess my point in saying that is if you have chaos frequently in your life, I think the first question to start with is, well, why? What is the driving force behind this, so that you can discern whether it is self-generated or if it's some kind of an outside influence that maybe you've allowed in. Because I think you handle those things in two different ways, right? If it's self-generated, then it's time for some self-inspection, right?
Yeah.
It's time to peel the onion back and go, okay, well, what's driving this for me? Is it a coping mechanism? Is it an avoidance behavior? Is it an old pattern that I continue to fall into? And to think through those things, because if that's the case, those are things that you can control. Those are things, right? You can get smart on time management. You can prioritize the things that you need to take care of and get intentional about how you're going to do that. You can carve out time specifically to do things. Or if you're overwhelmed, you can carve out downtime in your day to make sure that you have an opportunity to kind of recharge and refresh so that you can get after it again the next day, right? There's all those different ways. And it's all the things that we've already talked about, whether it's, goal planning, whatever, right? Like all those things that we talk about on the podcast, That's how you can get after it. If it's self-generated, I think where it becomes really difficult sometimes is when it is, especially when it's relational, and it's those there's aspects that are outside of our control, because we can't control other people's behavior. We can't control other people's choices. And that can create a lot of chaos in our life sometimes.
Yeah. I had this opportunity to sit down with this kid. He was 21 years old, and I knew his dad, and his dad had kind of told me that he's going through a rough time. So me and this kid set up an appointment. We went out and grabbed some lunch, and we were talking, and I just took my notebook and started writing down some of the things that he was saying. I had asked him via text message and email. I had asked him a few questions ahead of time and kind of had an idea what I was dealing with, or what I was going into. And at the end of, I don't know, it was about 30 minutes or so, I had a page full of notes, and I looked at it, and I told him, I was like, dude, do you realize that everything that you just described, you've done to yourself? Everything goes back to you. And one of the things was he's upset. He wanted to start an online company, like an apparel or something like that. I forget exactly the deets on it, but he didn't have any capital to invest. Yeah. And he was upset that he didn't have any money in his savings account. And, I'm just sitting here in this course of this conversation, I found out he's driving a brand new Dodge Charger. And I'm like, well, how much is your car payment every month? It's like $800. How much is your insurance? Like $700. And you wonder why you don't have any fucking money. Yeah. So you got these dreams and these ideas and these goals, which goals was loosely defined at that point for him, but we'll use the term anyways. You have these things that you want to do with your life, and you don't have the funds that you're not set up financially to be able to do some of these things. It's time to sit down and do a budget, bro. But he had gotten so attached to his fucking car that he wasn't willing to give that up. I'm like, trade in the fucking car and get a Corolla or something. Yeah,
that's
man.
Ego and identity right
exactly. there. Exactly. So you can go back, you can kind of peel this back and find out, man, there was a lot in here that you did that is affecting your future, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what it goes back to, right? First, you have to define what's the driving force behind it and figure out, is it self-perpetuated or is it some kind of outside factor?
He looked cool in the fucking car.
Yeah, right?
That's what it was.
Yeah. And then you've got to ask yourself too, what, like you were saying, what can I control and what can I control? Because that'll help you determine if it really is, if you're honest with yourself, right? Yeah. You may not be honest with yourself, and then you'll say, oh, well, it's everybody else's fault.
Somebody else's fault, yeah.
But if you're honest with yourself, you'll be able to figure out whether it's self-induced or if it's some kind of an outside influence. But what's important about what you were saying, and what I thought about when you were talking about sitting down with him, is sometimes the other question that you have to ask yourself is, what support do I need?
Yeah.
Like, if I've got chaos going on in my life, what support do I need? That support may be sitting down with a mentor and going, dude, exactly. I'm overwhelmed right now. How do I dope this out? Right. Or, hey, I don't have an experience in figuring out a budget. Can you help me with that? Right. That could be a form of support. If it's external, let's say you're going through a divorce and you got a lot of fucking chaos in your life, start in that show. And a lot of that chaos is being driven by somebody who you have absolutely no control over their actions or behavior.
Yeah.
Right. Well, what kind of support do you need? Do you need a bro network to come around and help you out? A good friend that you can call on the phone or pour a Jack and Coke with, and
kick your feet up and
talk about it, and get it off your chest.
Yeah.
Do you need to seek some counseling and some therapy to figure out, maybe you got to, maybe some of it's self-induced because of decisions that you've made, and you don't recognize the patterns that you've had in your life. And now you need somebody to help you peel that onion back a little bit.
Maybe you're an introvert and you don't like talking about things. And you don't like opening up like
That's
that.
Me.
But I fall into that trap too.
Sharing's hard.
It's uncomfortable.
It is
a lot of times,
it's vulnerable
because of a lot of the messaging that we've gotten around masculinity and shit like that.
And dude, it's vulnerable to share with people.
It is
your own shortcomings.
I mean, it's one thing. Like, I think that you and I, and the community that we were growing up in, it's one thing to stand up and say I fucked up and I didn't do this right, or that's one thing. But when you start getting into like deep subjects like this, I think it becomes a little bit uncomfortable because you're scared. Your fear of judgment, it goes skyrocket.
Shame.
You're scared. Like, well, fuck, Cass is going to view me as a pussy if I tell him this, and I can't have Cass thinking I'm a pussy. Like, I'm tough. You know, and I think you don't realize that if you've chosen your circle correctly, then you will be stronger to open up, because you never, I mean, fuck you, man, you might open a floodgate for the other dude.
Well, and bro, that's a slippery slope too, like we talked about on the podcast, because those wanted and unwanted identities can lead us down some very dark roads, and we've lost friends because of that.
Yeah, it can.
We've lost friends because they were so afraid to share,
don't want to talk about it,
that unwanted identity with us, even though none of us would have judged them for it, and we would have done anything to help them with it, that it led to some really bad situations and scenarios. You know what I mean? So, but it's vulnerability, right? Actually grappling. I mean, it's vulnerable in and of itself to grapple with those things on your own, but then to share them with other people, like that's courage tough. Over comfort, man.
That's tough, man. And I spend a lot of time inside my own head. I like to go out for walks. I went twice yesterday. I went for a long run yesterday morning, and I kind of got bored in the afternoon. I was like, you know what? I want some fresh air. And on those walks, man, that's like my happy time. The world kind of fades away for a little bit, and it's just the crunch of the gravel, and I can kind of dig down on some of the things that have been gnawing at me, or whatever. Maybe it's a problem I'm trying to solve. Maybe it's something creative that I've been working on that I'm really trying to find a solution, or something like that. And I find that solitude in that environment really helps me. I forget which of the famous Stoics said it, but they said, I think it was Hippocrates said, if you're having a bad day, go for a walk. If you're still having a bad day, go for another walk.
Yeah.
Get out in nature and kind of, I don't know, let that, let being out in nature let you open up a little bit. It ain't for everybody. On the other hand, it is good to talk some of this shit out sometimes.
Yeah.
It's good to get it out. I'm not advocating for people to just go around emoting all over the place, but sometimes it's good to share how, so-and-so pissed you off, or more importantly, why did that piss you off? Why did that event aggravate you? Did it offend you in some way, or are you jealous of that, or whatever it is?
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree with you. And then for that stuff that's outside of, that's not self-perpetuated, like if you're not causing your own shitstorm because of somebody else's behavior or things that are outside of your control, I think one of the things that you have to ask yourself too are like, what's your limits and when's enough, right? Like what are your...
That's a hard one.
Well, but that's how... These are the questions that will get you to the appropriate boundaries, I think, that you might have to set. So
that and balance.
Yeah. I'm going to go back to Brene Brown for a second, because I love how she does this. But when she talks about situations about like chaos, or at least in the context that we're talking about it, you want to approach those things with boundaries, integrity, and generosity. So, but that can be really difficult, and that can also be very uncomfortable, especially if it's a friend or a loved one, or somebody that you've been in a relationship with. So you have to drill down, and this takes self-inspection. You have to figure out what are the things that I'm willing to accept. What's my limit? Where's enough?
Yeah.
And then you have to ask yourself some questions too, like, are you outside of your values engaging the chaos, or are you in your values trying to address it? Because those are two completely different things.
Yeah.
And especially in situations like divorce, or if your parents have separated or things like that, like there's a lot of emotion involved in that, and it can be very difficult in those situations to self-regulate. You're not always going to get it right, but at some point you're going to have to draw specific boundaries with people, and depending on how they're made up, in my situation with my ex, boundaries are viewed as rejection. And so I know every time I set a boundary, I'm going to get a very aggressive response to it, because that's not seen as me just saying I'm not comfortable doing anything past this point. That's seen as rejection. Right. And so, but that's where, you kind of have to go back to, what are my values? How do I walk in my value system? And then based on my values, what am I willing to accept and what am I not willing to accept, so that I can stay true to myself and stay true to my core, but still try to manage a relationship over here and not get overextended or allow a bunch of chaos into my life, into my family, that I'm not willing. Like at some time you got to get off the fucking merry-go-round, man.
Yeah.
You really do. When it's dealing with other people, at some point you've got to get off the fucking merry-go-round.
Yeah. You know, as you were talking about that, I was sitting here thinking about like how much of that is a you problem versus a them problem. You know, and I go right back to control. Like you set the boundaries and she has this response. Well, that's kind of on her, man. Like,
yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, when you turn the lights off and close your eyes and you debrief your day, were you a good dude? Did you do the things that you said you were going to do? Did you live within the boundaries that you've set for your own personal self? And if the answer is yes, roll over and go to sleep, bro.
Well, and I mean, to that point, it doesn't even have to be a situation like a divorce, right? It could be maybe you're trying to work with one of your kids, or maybe you're trying to mentor somebody and you can see the impending train wreck and you tell them all the things that they should or should not do and they blow it off. Well, dude, you're not responsible for the impending train wreck, right?
Like we all have started in this show.
Yeah. And so and I think that's a great realization to make, is the fact that you can't control what the choices that other people make. You can't control other people's ability to self-regulate or their own reactions.
No.
What you can control is how you're going to let that influence you, or the environment that you're trying to create, or the family that you're trying to protect, or whatever, right? And that's where the boundaries come in. But you can set boundaries with integrity. Like the example Brene gives is, we're going to have a party. And Roscoe is my next door neighbor. And I love Roscoe. He's a great fucking dude. And he's always a ton of fun every time he comes over.
Yeah.
But he gets so fucking drunk that it always turns into a shit show by the end of the night. It is fake news. Right? But so this is the example she gives. She's got a neighbor, loves her, wants to have her over, or a family member, but they always get fucking drunk and it turns into a complete shit show. And so they're going to have a party. And they want to invite this person. But the boundary is, you can come, but you can't drink, right? We want you to be here.
Fuck you. I'm not coming to your stupid party.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's your
choice.
But
see, that's a me problem, not a you problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I'm setting a boundary that's going to make me comfortable in my environment for the rest of the evening, and everybody else to a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Where whatever reaction you have, is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever reaction you have,
probably.
Technical difficulties,
whatever.
Whatever reaction you have, that's on you, man. Like, and I think when you're younger, until you've experienced this enough or had to go through this process of setting boundaries and things like that with folks, that can be really hard to do.
Yeah.
Because that's an uncomfortable conversation to have with somebody, right?
Yeah. Well, I think there's the realization that you have to set a boundary. That's like the first barrier that you have to break through is, I'm a chronic problem solver and I don't like to quit and I don't like to give up. And I'm kind of stubborn like that. But in the case of some people that I've coached and mentored, they just don't fucking get it. And I keep, it's like I'm banging my cranium on the wall, man. Telling them the same junk over and over and over again, and they're just not fucking doing it. At what point do you say, you know what? I've given you all the advice that I possibly can. I'm just going to sit back here and, I don't know, try to be a cheerleader for you in the best way that I can. And I'm going to watch this train wreck in slow motion. And when it gets to the end, I'm going to try really hard to not say I told you so.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the role that I'm going to accept. And I've had to do that with some very close family members of like, I mean, I can see where this is going, man. I can see it 2 years from now. I know where you're going to be. If you don't listen to and do some of the things that I'm telling you right now, you're going to get F'd in the A a couple of years down the road.
Yeah.
They just won't listen. And
sure.
And at some point you have to realize, man, I got to put some walls up around this and just, take a different approach.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a great segue and a great example too, because I've had to do that as well. And I think, especially if we're talking to some of the older men that may listen to the podcast as a parent, that's very difficult to do.
It's hard.
It's really hard to do. But here's what I found is in those situations, if you've got one of those hard learners, well, first of all, if we just go back to chaos in your life, like at some point you've got to recognize that they're their own person and they're responsible for their own decisions. And they've got to live with the outcomes of those decisions. And you kind of have to just detach yourself from it to a certain extent. A perfect example, let's say let's say you have a kid in college and they get done with their first year and it's been okay. They've been doing okay. Maybe, in my example, they're at ASU. ASU's a party school. Maybe they did a little too much partying.
Yeah.
But they're kind of, maybe wishy-washy on what they want to do, or even worse, let's say they went off to some Ivy League school with some great expectation of capturing some high-end degree, and they're just fucking getting crushed.
Yeah.
And they want to make a pivot. But they don't want to leave the school because now their friends are there and the party scene that they enjoy is there. Well, here's the boundary that you can set. You can go, well, you know what? You can change your degree program if you want, but I'm not paying for it at Ivy League rates. If you're going to go over to this and decide to do something different, then that's fine. And I'll still support you, but you're going to need to come back and go to ASU where it's affordable and I only have to pay $6,000 a semester instead of $60,000. That could be a boundary. And then they get to make that choice and figure that out for themselves.
Yeah.
Another situation is like that I found that's useful with kids is if they're open to it and you can do like a values discussion or kind of a defining personal values thing with them, then when they start to run into situations in their life, you can just have that conversation. You can go, well, dude, what aligns with your value system? You've told me your values are X, Y, and Z. If you look at that, what's the decision that you make out of here?
Yeah.
And then allow them to make that choice for themselves and then circle back and go, how did it work out?
Yeah, that's going to take a certain amount of maturity on their part.
It does take maturity.
And I don't know if all of our 21-year-olds are ready to have that discussion. No. I mean, I just had this discussion with Tyler in the last, I don't know, maybe the last year or so, and he's 27. So sometimes it takes a long time to get there. Now, I can tell you that once we did have that conversation and he started really thinking about some of that stuff, he's made some really good decisions.
Yeah.
He's made some crappy ones.
Sure.
And we've debriefed it. And hopefully we've learned a lesson, even though it took a couple of times. What I always say, man, life will continue to present you the opportunity to learn a lesson until you actually learn that lesson. But
what I was trying to get at was, I think what you were getting at right there, which is that telling somebody what to do is different than teaching them how to figure it out. And my guess is with Tyler, instead of telling him you need to do X, Y, and Z, you're asking more open-ended questions to allow him to go through that thought process of figuring it out on his own to get to hopefully the right conclusion.
Well, it's funny you say that because one of the points that I was going to make was, like we were talking about Matt Rife, right? He's a young man. I think he's 28, right? He's a young man, and his comedy is okay. He's not the funniest dude in the world to me. He's got some gimmicky type things that he does, but he's 28. Yeah. Wait until he's 38.
Yeah, he'll probably be really good.
He'll be fucking hilarious because he's been working on his craft for so long and he knows his style. But when he's 38, he's going to have life experience.
Yeah, he's going to have so much more experience.
And that's kind of the same path that I've talked to with Tyler now is I can have discussions with him about, hey, you remember that one time that you did this one thing? How did that work out for you?
Yeah.
He's got experience now and he can look back on it and go, oh yeah, I remember that now. And I fucked that up. Okay. Well, maybe we try not to do that again.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think with a little bit of life experience and a few failures to look back on certain occasions and go, yeah, man, that really didn't work out the last time I tried this. Okay. So maybe we try something different.
Yeah.
Let's take a different approach.
Yeah. And I think that's true. I mean, obviously when your kids are younger, you've got to be a little more black and white with things.
Sure.
Because they don't have the experience or the understanding around
there stuff. Has to be a certain amount of I told you so.
But in relationships,
do this because I said so.
Yeah. But in relationships, as you get older, I think it's really valuable if you can shift away from telling people what to do to helping them figure it out on their own. Like that brings a ton of value to the relationship, and it gives you an opportunity to influence in a different way.
Yeah. You want a real good crash course in negotiating and figuring some of that shit out, get married.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, there's a lot of compromise. There's a lot of that. You can't just go in there and say, go in there and wash them dishes because I told you to. No, it's not going to work. It's not going to end well for you.
No.
So I hope you have a good, comfortable bed in your RV because you're going to be sleeping there for a little bit.
Hopefully you have an RV.
Yeah,
otherwise you're going to be
backseat of your hoopty
or a good couch.
Yeah. So when we talked about a lot about what it is and what it isn't, but how do we actually combat some of the chaos? How can we face it and really control? I mean, the title of the show is going to be Control Your Chaos, right? And so how can we have some control over this chaotic world that we've invented for ourselves?
Yeah, well, again, I think there's kind of two situations, whether it's self-perpetuated or if it's outside influences. And in the case of it being self-perpetuated, you just have to get honest with yourself and do some self-inspection to figure out what's driving it.
Humility is a superpower.
Yeah, because maybe it's I suck at time management. Maybe it's, again, I'm falling into a pattern that is unrecognized that I'm starting to see for what it is. Like, are you familiar with triangulation?
A little bit.
Yeah. So triangulation is where like you've got two people that are having a fight with each other, and rather than them talk directly to one another, they try to triangulate in somebody else to influence the
What
other
are we in
side.
third grade now?
Yeah. But you see it happen, especially if people,
you go tell Alicia that I really like her cookies.
Yeah. Well, that's not it, so to speak. But you see it a lot with people that are passive aggressive, and so like here would be an example. Here, I'll give you an example. So when my daughter came here to go to NAU, she brought her dog with her, who's been here ever since. And when she left to go back to South Carolina for school, she left her dog here. When Danny graduated, she came out, and we hadn't been talking. And so when they get here for Danny's graduation, Danny's hanging out. His mom had rented a house. Danny's hanging out, and I start getting texts from my oldest son, David. Hey, Carly wants to see Bandit. You need to let her see him. This, that, and the other. And I'm like, if she wants to see him, she can talk to me. All it required was a text or a phone call that was like, hey, Dad, I know we haven't really talked, and I know things aren't great between us, but I'd really like to see Bandit. Can I come see him for an hour or two? That's all. Yeah. That's all it required. But I get nothing, right? And I'm just like, so here's my boundary, right? If you want something from me, then you need to deal with me. I'm not going to play this game and I'm not going to give in to outside influences or pressure that you're trying to apply to me from other people. That's not how I operate. Yeah. That's not how things work for me. So if you want to have a conversation around it, I'm happy to have a conversation. I'm open to a conversation. I'm sure we can work something out, but I'm not going to be triangulated into this. But that whole week it was David, and then it went to Daniel, and then it went to, right. And it's just, it's that pattern of triangulation, which, by the way, played out in my family a lot with my mom too. So I'm very familiar that it's a pattern that I used to fall into easily because I'm starting to feel pressure from other people. I don't want to be the bad guy. I'm being made to be the bad guy. So I'm going to give in because then I won't be the bad guy. Fuck that. I'm not a bad guy. I know that about myself. I'm not a bad person. If you want to deal with me directly. And so that's an example of triangulation. So maybe you fall into that pattern. So now you get to go through that process of, okay, well, what are the things that I need to change? Maybe it's a time management issue. Okay, I need to work on my time management. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's just being out of incongruence, not walking in your value system, and it's creating chaos in your life. Okay, well, how do I realign myself? How do I make better decisions, right? It can be any of those processes that we talk about. Or what do I need to fucking remove myself from because it doesn't fucking serve me anymore? Yeah. Right. And all this chaos that's happening in my life is because I am allowing myself to be put into situations that I really don't need to be a part of anymore. Yeah. Right. That could be part of it.
Well, that's self-inflicted stuff. And
and then on the other side, I would just say if it's not self-generated, then it's the boundaries, integrity, and generosity piece.
Yeah. I think with the external stuff, I think it's a little easier. Like going to the show the other day, there was very little of that we can control. I can't like call StubHub and chew their ass out and get get some form of reaction from them.
Yeah.
They just hang up the phone on me. So, I think there was a little bit of patience, and Katie we were coming home from camping the other day, and she's been doing this month-long Bible study thing, self-paced Bible study thing. And she's reading the Gospel of Luke in the New Testament. And she got to this one part and she goes, "Oh God, I'm going to have to read this one twice." I said, "What is it?" She goes, "Jesus is talking about worrying." I'm like, yeah, stop worrying about shit, and no kidding. Like she's over there just pinging and turning red over these damn tickets. I'm like, Katie, it'll work out.
Yeah.
Just chill. The first thing that I had on my list kind of got actually, two of them. The first two that I had on my list of how to kind of combat this, they go hand in hand. And I think it's be aware of your feelings and your mindset.
Yeah.
Mindful awareness and mindfulness. And that really goes to what we talk about when we talk about self-awareness and self-inspection.
Yeah.
And so all this stuff, I know it sounds circular and it's a broken record and all that shit, but really, man, it just comes down to these fundamentals.
It does.
Know who you are and start living your life accordingly with that. If you're wishy-washy and you kind of haven't figured out your own identity yet, well, maybe talk to some people or spend some time with a pen and a notebook in a journal and start writing some things out, man. And I think you'll start to get there. I know it's worked for a few people that I've coached up, a few people that I've talked to, is just take out a notebook, and every time you have a weird thought come in your head, just write it down. And 30 days later, you come back to it and you read it, and you either go, well, that was fucking dumb, or you go, weird. And you start to think about it some.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where, that's kind of a way to start the process.
Yeah. Well, and I think that I completely agree with you. Aside from the fact that for me anyways, the self-generated stuff is easy for me to fix. That's probably because I have a fair level of self-awareness. And I can kind of get to that root cause pretty easy most of the time. I think the more difficult things to deal with or to withdraw from, or those situations that are relational, that have that outside influence that's bringing chaos. I think those are really those can be very difficult things to manage.
Learning to say no is hard.
It is. It's like,
tough.
no, I'm telling you, man, getting off the fucking merry-go-round can be a very difficult and scary thing to do.
It's tough, man. And I've had to do this with my circle a few times, where you kind of take an inventory of everything that's going around you and where you're at in life. And you go, are these people helping me or not? And there's really not a lot of gray area in the middle of that. Like people are either going to be champions for you or they're not.
It's either value added or not.
Seriously. And I'm at a point in my life where I want to try a bunch of different shit, man. And, I want to do different things, and I don't want to be in a rut, and I don't want to be known as this guy that, well, he just, goes out on Friday, like Frank the Tank, he just goes out every Friday and Saturday night and gets shit faced, and we tell the same fucking stories and laugh at the same jokes and listen to the same songs.
Yeah.
I'm just in a little bit more of an adventurous point in my life where I want to go out and experience things, and I want to try new things, and I want to go, well, I'm going to, fuck, man, let's go to an open mic and try stand-up comedy for a little bit. We sit here and we were bitching about Matt Rife and how his comedy sucked earlier.
Be good.
We'd be like, fuck it. Yeah. Put yourself on the stage and see if you can tell a fucking joke. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I want to try it. I don't know. I want to experiment with some things. And so, I don't know, man. I think that learning to say no to your circle is probably harder than dealing with some of the outside influence, because to me, it's easy to identify the outside influence. It's easier for me to go, dude, I can't control any of that shit, versus, oh man, I actually have a lot of control over this, and now I have to make some really hard decisions. And that to me is more difficult.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I would say too is, I think one of the things that prevents us from being able to do that sometimes is because we're worried what other people are going to think, right? Especially when it comes to setting boundaries, right? We're worried that people are going to think that we're a jerk or an asshole, or,
fuck him, he don't want to hang out with us no more.
Whatever it is, okay. Right? And again, big old knot, right? That's why defining values is so important, because if you understand those things for yourself and then you're operating out of that value system, it's not that you don't care what people think, but the bottom line is, if people are going to judge you based on you doing what's good for you, or you staying in alignment with your value system, if they're going to judge you for that, or they're going to pass judgment or call you an asshole or something, then they're probably not people that you want in your life anyways, right? Yeah. Like, I don't need people in my life that are going to judge me for doing things that are important for me to do to take care of me, so that I can stay grounded, so that I can stay centered, so that I can be authentic and true to myself.
Yeah.
If my decision not to go out on Friday night, or my decision to call you on the carpet for being a spade around something because it's influencing the larger group or a behavior or whatever, if that's going to make you not like me anymore, then we probably didn't need to be friends to begin with, right? Like, you've got to take me in totality. right? And if people are going to judge you for those little things and not you for the great friend you are or how you've shown up for them in the past and all the things that you've done for them and all the times that you've sacrificed for them, if none of that amounts to, I'm not going to go get drunk with you on Friday night anymore, then
there's an interesting concept in there too, and is they may be in love with a version of you that either you were faking for a while or
doesn't exist
anymore. Yeah. Like, I mean, we all get caught up in these little vignettes of our life where, you PCS to a new squadron and it's cool to go out and hang out with these guys and do whatever these guys do because, part of you wants to kind of fit in and everything. If you go in there and be like, no, this is who I am. This is what well, you're not going to have a lot of friends right off the bat.
Yeah.
So, we'll fast forward that same story 3 years and, the guys that you hang out with, you realize you're like, man, I don't really enjoy this like I thought I did or like I used to. And so you start backing off a little bit. Well, now you're kind of an asshole because they were in love with that version of you. Right. Well, maybe that's not really me. Well, I fell into that trap before.
You see this in friend groups all the time, right? Maybe you're younger and you got a circle of friends and you guys used to always go out on Friday or Saturday night to the same bar or whatever and hang out. And then people get married or people have kids and now they start to pull away from that because guess what? When you've got somebody waking you up every fucking hour and a half for 5 months at a time, and you're not getting any sleep, all of a sudden going to bed at 8 o'clock at night.
It doesn't sound too bad, does it?
Doesn't suck anymore, right? And so, but then it's like, oh, well, they're not fun anymore. Or, oh, well, no, dude, like just priorities and values have shifted.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm still fun. We just have to go to the playground instead.
Yeah.
And it's funny you said that because Tyler was telling us the other day on the phone that he has a few friends in his little close circle there in Alabama that, they're all kind of fighting some of the same stuff. And they don't have a ton of surplus income. They've got a bunch of different priorities that they're balancing and everything. And, Tyler will call the guy up and be like, hey, man, you want to go hang out and, I don't know, go down to hunting camp, shoot guns for a little. No, dude, I gotta pick up an extra shift because it doesn't mean that he doesn't like Tyler. He's just prioritizing other things.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Tyler told me that sometimes he'll call and be like, no, dude, sorry, I got the kids tonight or whatever it is. And it's not that they don't enjoy each other's company anymore. They just have competing priorities.
Yeah. And I run into this sometimes too, because here's a perfect example. I have a buddy up in Washington who has a friend who just moved down here locally about, I don't know, maybe 2-3 months ago. And so he sends me a text and he goes, hey, man, do you mind if I share your contact information with this dude? He's new to town, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure. Okay. I'm an introvert. I don't go out a lot. Okay. And I usually am in bed by 9 o'clock. So I've been texting back and forth with this guy and we just haven't been able to make things line up. Right. And that's because part of it too is like the days that I try to align my schedule with Elisa's work schedule and the days that we have off together, I covet that because I covet our time together. I like to spend time with my wife. I like to go do things with my wife, right? And so I try to, I'm particular about some of those things. And then too, sometimes I come home from a 3-day trip and I'm just fucking wiped and I don't want to see people until I have to go back to work. But dude, in the back of my mind, because it's taken so long for me to get together with this cat, I'm like, this guy's got to think I'm a complete fucking asshole at this point, right? And I'm not a bad person, but I continue to set boundaries sometimes with some of the offers that he makes to get together because it's just on days or times that I'm not willing to give up for whatever reason because that's important to me, right? That's what I need to do to keep my batteries recharged for the week ahead or to get the time that I want to spend with Alicia or to get the things that I need to get done around the house. Cause sometimes I have finite time, not this month, but sometimes. So, those are just the struggles that you have.
Well, I mean, Katie and I we talk about this when she texted me and said, do you want to go see this comedy show? I was like, yeah, but I don't want to go to the late show. I don't want to go to the 10 o'clock show and get home at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd rather go to the 7 o'clock show and get home at 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's still a reasonable, decently early time. I can still get up at 5 or 6 in the morning and not be completely crushed.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, and that was one of those, like we were talking about boundaries, that was one of those kind of caveats that I put on that is like, please get us tickets. I don't care where we sit in the place. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not that guy. I don't have to be up front for any of this shit.
Yeah.
But if you want to go to a show, let's go to the 7 o'clock show. We still go get dinner beforehand. It's a little bit of an early dinner, but hey, man, I'm all about some early bird special now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get that senior citizen discount soon.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, brother. What else you got on this subject? Anything else you want to share?
Dude, I think the only thing that we didn't talk about was when we're talking about the chaos and how to deal with it specifically. You know, a lot of it's mindfulness, a lot of it's self-awareness, a lot of it's the boundaries you put up, but also coping mechanisms that you have and finding ways to relieve some of that stress.
Yeah.
Finding an outlet, you know, and I know we've talked about that before on the show, but just to kind of bring it home, you know, like these are some of the things that it's all encompassing, you know, and having that outlet for yourself, whether it's going to the gym or like me, I like to go for a walk in the evenings and just kind of think about the day and let the day go, or listen to something fun on a podcast or something like that. Yeah. But you need that decompression time. Maybe you get up early in the morning and you just like to have a little quiet time and read your book. Maybe you like to do all that shit. I like it. I like to get up early in the morning. The house is quiet. I read 30 or 40 pages in my book, and then I'll go for my workout. And then a lot of times in the evenings, I might sit in my room alone, and just turn the lights out, or I might go for another walk or something like that.
Yeah.
So having an outlet like that, I think, is huge.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I would say, going back to what we talked about previously too, it's okay to build time into your schedule to have downtime.
You got to have me time
if you need to, right? And it's okay to do those things. Like, even if you're going through something that's really difficult, maybe you're going through a divorce, or maybe you've lost a loved one or something like that, and you just want to, you know, cry or be angry or whatever.
Go for a drive,
dude. Yeah. Or, you know, or set aside some time and go, you know what, I'm just going to let myself experience the emotions and get some of this shit out of me, and give yourself an hour to just go fucking sit on the couch and bawl your eyes out if that's what you need to do. And then at the end of that hour, move on. Like, just press.
Yeah, man. And I think, you know, you could take this from just your everyday. I mean, like yesterday I got up early. I did all the things that I told you I did. I took my chore list. I wrote them in dry erase marker on my mirror. And when I was done with my workout, I just started knocking out my chore list. And when I was done by like 11 o'clock in the morning. I was like, cool, I got me time for the rest of the afternoon. I sat there and watched a Netflix movie for the first time in fucking forever.
Yeah.
You know, but I really enjoyed just having kind of a lazy afternoon because I'd already gotten my shit done. I took a little time to just kind of recharge, you know, kick my feet up and use my massager on my legs because they were sore, and just, you know, dumb shit that I just have been neglecting for a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's not dumb, right? It's important. And that it comes back to that balance piece.
Yeah. You got to find a way to recharge your batteries somehow. Some people will go make a drink and sit on the back porch. Some people will watch a movie. Some people will go run, you know, whatever it is that makes you tick and whatever gives you that feeling of find that, do that. And make time in your day or in your week to do that every few days.
You got to find out where to recharge.
Yeah, it's important because, you know, I think we all get caught up in this moment by moment, hour by hour kind of daily schedule. You know, I get up at this time, I eat, I shit, I go to work, I come home, I got these chores to do, I got to put the kids to bed, and then it's bedtime again. Yeah, you know, and after 4 or 5 days of that, you realize, man, I haven't really done anything for myself.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't bathed in 3 days, or, you know, whatever it may be, you know, dude, take some time, man.
Hobby, watch a football game, watch a baseball game,
do something
you need.
Go get your hair cut and talk to the barber for a little bit, you know, go hang out.
Yeah.
Anyways, what else, man?
Nothing. I would just say, hey, we're coming up on getting close to the 50th episode. I'm not sure when this one is going to release, but we also found out a while back that we're like in the top 10% of podcasts. So we appreciate all your guys' support. Please continue to share the podcast and subscribe.
Send us money. We need money.
Yeah.
Send money.
We should do Patreon or something like that.
Did you call it Patreon? Is it Patreon or Patreon?
Patreon. I have no idea what it is.
I don't know.
Anyways, subscribe. Check out the YouTube channel. You can watch us on video there and see how ugly Roscoe and I actually are in real life.
Yeah. At least the side profiles.
Yeah, at least the side.
My right side is much more beautiful than my left side.
We should switch chairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, please continue to share, continue to subscribe. We appreciate all your support.
Yeah. Cool, man.
That's all I got, man.
Be the change.
Be the one.
Thanks for flying with the Be One Change One podcast. If you got something out of this show, then be the one and share it in your circles of influence.
You can be our wingman through our website at www.be1change1.com. That's B and the number 1, change and the number 1.com.
We invite you to be the one and join our fighter squadron on social media at Be One Change One on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You can follow us at Paul Roscoe White on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, as well as Roscoe's website, www.paulroscoewhite.com.
You can email us from the website, and please leave comments, share, and ask questions, or leave ideas of things you would like to discuss on future podcasts. Most importantly, be the one that helps us win the algorithm by leaving a review on whatever platform you're listening on.
Thanks for joining. Until next time, be the one.